Imagine for a moment that every choice you've ever made, every step forward, every hesitation, every leap into the unknown created another version of you. Somewhere, in a realm beyond the edges of perception, these versions exist. They are not ghosts or echoes, they are as real as you are, living lives shaped by the roads you didn't take.
Each one carries a unique story, a tapestry woven from decisions both grand and fleeting. What would it mean to meet them, to walk among the infinite selves born from your every choice? What truths might they reveal about who you are and who you might have been?
This version of you chose a life of quiet reflection. They live in a small cabin surrounded by books and handwritten journals. You glimpse the titles. Some you recognize from your own life, others foreign, written in languages you never learned. This self writes poetry, teaches in a small community, and finds joy in the rhythm of ordinary days. Their life is not grand, but it is full. They smile at you, a knowing look, as if to say, "This was enough." Their eyes hold a story, years spent listening to the wind, watching seasons change, finding meaning in the small, deliberate acts that define a life. You see a journal open on the table, its pages filled with delicate verses about love, loss, and the beauty of a single moment. What do you feel seeing this version of yourself? Do they stir pride, envy, curiosity? Take a moment to reflect. Picture yourself sitting at that table, sipping tea, listening to the silence of their world. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands, the cool air on your skin. What would it mean to live a life so anchored in simplicity, so devoted to the small, quiet moments? Hold that image in your mind. Let it settle like dust in a sunbeam. The scene shifts. You're standing on a rooftop, the city sprawling beneath you, alive with energy. Neon lights pulse in the distance, their reflections dancing on glass towers. The air hums with the sound of traffic, a low, constant rhythm, punctuated by the faint wail of a siren. Another version of you approaches, dressed sharply, their stride confident, eyes sharp with focus. This self chose ambition, climbing the ladders of a high-stakes world, perhaps a corporate empire, a creative industry, or a movement that reshaped lives. Their hands carry the weight of decisions that affected thousands. Their voice, when they speak, is steady, commanding.
I chose to run toward the fire, they say, gazing at the skyline. Every risk, every sacrifice, it built this. You sense the triumphs in their words, the thrill of victories won, the rush of shaping the world. But there's a cost, too. Late nights, strained relationships, moments of doubt buried beneath success. Their life is a blaze of achievement, but it burns bright and fast. Look closer. Notice the faint tension in their shoulders, the way their fingers fidget with a pen, the subtle lines of fatigue around their eyes. You see a briefcase at their feet, papers spilling out, marked with notes from a life lived at full speed. What would it mean to be this version of you? To chase the heights, to carry the weight of ambition. Ask yourself, is this the life you want or the one you fear? Picture a moment in your own life where you felt the pull of ambition. Maybe it was a goal you chased, a dream you reached for. Did you follow it or turn away? What might have happened if you chose differently? Imagine standing on this rooftop, the city at your feet, the weight of success on your shoulders. Let that thought unfold, like a city coming alive at dusk. Let's pause to consider what these encounters mean. The philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre once said, "We are our choices." Every decision, from the mundane to the life-altering, carves a path through the infinite possibilities of existence. Modern physics, too, toys with the idea of a multiverse, countless realities where every outcome of every choice plays out. The physicist Hugh Everett, who proposed the many worlds interpretation, suggested that reality splits with every quantum event, creating parallel lives for every possibility. What if this is the truth of your existence? What if every choice you've ever made, every chance you took or didn't, lives on in another you? Take a moment to reflect on a choice you made recently. Maybe it was small, a conversation you avoided, a task you postponed. Maybe it was profound, a career shift, a relationship's end. Picture the other paths that choice could have taken. Who might you have become? Imagine those paths branching outward, each one a life, each one a story. See them as threads in a vast tapestry, each one vibrant, each one essential. This journey is about seeing those paths, not to judge them, but to understand the infinite depth of your own existence. Hold that thought. Let it expand, like ripples across a still lake. The air grows heavy as you step into a small, cluttered room. Rain taps against a window, a soft, rhythmic patter like a heartbeat. The light is dim, casting long shadows across a worn wooden floor. Another version of you sits by the window, staring at the rain. Their eyes are soft, shadowed with quiet sorrow. This self carries the weight of a choice that broke something within them, a love lost, a dream abandoned, a risk not taken. Their hands clutch a worn photograph, its edges frayed from years of touch. You glimpse the image, a face you recognize, a moment you can't quite place, a memory that feels like a dream.
They don't speak at first. They simply look at you, their gaze a mirror of your own unspoken regrets. When they finally talk, their voice is low, measured. "I stayed still," they say. "I let fear win. And yet I found meaning in the quiet." You notice small signs of resilience, a journal filled with careful handwriting, its pages dense with reflections. A single flower in a vase, its petals bright against the gloom. A faint smile that defies the pain. This self has lived through loss, but they've woven it into their story. They've learned to find beauty in broken things, to see light in the shadows. You see a small shelf behind them, holding mementos, a letter never sent, a trinket from a forgotten journey. This version teaches you something profound. Even in loss, there is life. Even in regret, there is growth. What do you feel standing before this self? Do you want to comfort them, learn from them, or simply sit with them in silence? Reflect on a moment in your own life where you felt loss. Maybe a relationship that faded, a goal you let slip away. How did it shape you? Picture yourself sitting beside this self, listening to the rain, feeling its rhythm. What would you say to them? What would they say to you? Let this moment be a quiet conversation, a shared understanding across time. The scene shifts, and you're standing on a cliff, the wind sharp against your skin. Waves crash against the rocks below, their roar mingling with the cries of seagulls. The air tastes of salt, and the horizon stretches endlessly before you. Another version of you stands at the edge, their hair wild, their eyes alight with untamed energy. This self chose adventure,
a life of exploration. Perhaps they sailed across oceans, climbed mountains, or wandered through cultures unknown to you. Their hands are calloused, their clothes weathered by sun and salt, but their smile is radiant, unburdened. I followed the horizon, they say, laughing softly. Every step was uncertain, but every moment was alive. You notice a small leather journal tucked into their pocket, its pages filled with sketches of distant lands, fragments of poetry, stories of people met and left behind. Their life is a mosaic of risk and wonder, but you sense the solitude that comes with it, the connections left behind, the roots never planted. You see a small tattoo on their wrist, a symbol of a journey that changed them, a reminder of a moment when they felt truly free.
What would it mean to be this version of you? To chase the unknown, to live untethered? Ask yourself, what adventure have you always dreamed of, but never pursued? Maybe it's a journey to a far-off place, a bold leap into the unknown. Picture it now. Imagine standing on this cliff, feeling the wind, hearing the waves, the world open before you. What does it feel like to be so alive, so unbound? Let that image linger. Let it stir something deep within you. Let's step back again. The idea of infinite selves raises a question. What is the self if it can fracture into countless versions? Are you the sum of your choices, or something more? The physicist Brian Greene, exploring the multiverse, suggests that reality might be a tapestry of infinite outcomes, each as valid as the next. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of the eternal recurrence, the idea that you might live your life over and over, in every possible variation. What would it mean to embrace every version of yourself, to see each one as a piece of a greater whole? Reflect on this. If every version of you exists, what binds them together? Is it memory, emotion, a shared essence? Picture yourself as a constellation, each star a different life, yet all part of the same pattern. Imagine standing at the center of that constellation, surrounded by the light of every choice you've ever made. What does this mean for how you see yourself now? Feel the interconnectedness of these lives, the way they weave together to form you. Take a moment to sit with that question. Let it unfold like a melody in your mind.
You step into a warm, cluttered studio. The air smells of oil paint and old wood, and sunlight streams through a skylight, casting soft patterns on the floor. Another version of you is here, immersed in creation. They're painting, or perhaps playing an instrument you never learned, their hands moving with a fluid grace. The room hums with quiet focus, alive with the energy of creation. This self chose a life of art, pouring their soul into every stroke, every note. They look up, their eyes bright with passion. "This is who I am," they say, gesturing to a canvas alive with color, a melody that lingers in the air. "Every piece is a piece of me." You notice the chaos of their space, half-finished works, scribbled lyrics, sketches pinned to the walls. A guitar rests in the corner, its strings worn from years of play. Their life is vibrant, but unsteady, a dance between inspiration and doubt. You see the joy in their eyes, but also the struggle, the nights spent wrestling with a blank page, the moments of questioning their worth.
A half-written poem lies on the table, its words raw and unguarded, a window into their soul. What would it mean to live this life? To create without fear? To let your heart spill onto the page or the canvas? Think of a creative dream you've held but never pursued. Maybe it's a story you've always wanted to write, a song you've hummed but never played. Picture yourself in this studio, your hands moving, your heart open. Feel the brush in your hand, the strings beneath your fingers. How does it feel to create so freely? Let that feeling settle within you, like a spark waiting to ignite. The scene shifts to a quiet temple, bathed in soft golden light. Incense curls in the air, its scent warm and grounding, like sandalwood and earth. The faint chime of a bell resonates, its sound lingering in the stillness. Another version of you kneels here, their hands folded in meditation, their breath slow and deliberate. This self chose a spiritual path, seeking meaning beyond the material world. Perhaps they've studied ancient texts, walked pilgrimages, or simply found peace in silence. Their eyes are calm, their presence steady, as if they've glimpsed something beyond the veil of ordinary life.
They speak softly, their voice like a gentle stream. I sought the truth within, they say. In stillness, I found it. You notice the small details, a worn prayer bead on their wrist, a simple robe, a faint smile that carries unshakable peace. Their life is one of surrender, of letting go of the need to control, to achieve, to prove. Yet there is strength here, a quiet power born of understanding. You see a small altar behind them, holding a candle, a stone, a feather, symbols of a journey inward. What would it mean to be this version of you? To seek meaning in the unseen, to find peace in the present moment. Reflect on a time when you felt truly at peace. Maybe it was a quiet moment alone, a connection with something greater. Picture yourself sitting beside the self, breathing in sync, feeling the weight of the world fall away. Hear the chime of the bell, smell the incense. What does this peace feel like? Hold it close. Let it linger like a warm ember. Now you stand in a laboratory, the air humming with the soft buzz of machinery. Screens glow with data, their light casting a blue hue across the room. Another version of you is here, surrounded by instruments and notes, their eyes alight with curiosity. This self chose a life of discovery, diving into the mysteries of the universe, perhaps the scientist, an inventor, a seeker of truth through reason. Their hands move quickly, jotting equations, adjusting a microscope, their mind racing with questions. I wanted to understand, they say, their voice sharp with excitement. Every answer led to a new question. You notice the chaos of their workspace. Papers scattered, a whiteboard covered in formulas, a coffee cup long forgotten. Their life is one of relentless pursuit, of pushing the boundaries of what's possible. But you sense the sacrifice, the hours spent in isolation, the moments missed with those they love. A star chart hangs on the wall, a reminder of their quest to map the unknown. What would it mean to live this life? To chase knowledge, to unravel the universe's secrets? Think of a question you've always wanted to answer, a mystery you've longed to solve. Maybe it's the nature of time, the origin of consciousness. Picture yourself in this lab, your mind alive with ideas, your hands tracing the edges of truth. How does it feel to pursue knowledge so fiercely? Let that curiosity spark within you, like a star igniting in the dark.
The scene shifts to a warm, bustling home, filled with the sound of laughter and the clatter of dishes. The air smells of fresh bread and herbs, and sunlight spills through a window, warming the room. Another version of you stands here, surrounded by family, children, a partner, perhaps generations gathered around a table. This self chose connection, building a life rooted in love and togetherness. Their hands are busy, stirring a pot, braiding a child's hair, their eyes warm with affection. I chose them, they say, smiling as they glance at the faces around them. This is my legacy. You notice the small details, the worn wedding ring, the photos on the wall, the chaos of a lived-in home. Their life is full of joy but also compromise, the dreams set aside for the sake of others. You see a child's drawing pinned to the fridge, a snapshot of a moment when love was enough. There is beauty here, but also sacrifice, the quiet choice to put others first. What would it mean to be this version of you? To prioritize love, to build a life around others. Reflect on a moment when you felt truly connected to someone. Maybe it was a shared laugh, a quiet moment of understanding. Picture yourself at this table, surrounded by those you love, their voices filling the air. How does it feel to choose this path? Let that warmth fill you, like sunlight through a window. You find yourself in a crowded street, the air alive with voices, music, and the scent of smoke. Another version of you stands here, their eyes fierce with purpose. This self chose revolution, a life dedicated to change. Perhaps they fought for justice, rallied for a cause, or built something new from the ashes of the old. Their hands are scarred, their clothes worn, but their voice is strong, unwavering. I couldn't stand still, they say, their gaze steady. The world needed to change, and I answered. You notice the crowd around them, faces turned toward this self, inspired by their words. Their life is one of struggle and triumph, of standing against the tide. But you sense the toll, the nights of doubt, the enemies made, the moments of loneliness in a sea of people. A tattered flag lies at their feet, a symbol of their fight.
What would it mean to be this version of you? To fight for something bigger, to carry the weight of a cause. Think of a moment when you felt called to act, to stand up for something. Picture yourself in this street, your voice rising, your heart alight with purpose. How does it feel to fight for change? Let that fire burn within you, steady and fierce. The scene shifts to a secluded cave, its walls glowing with the flicker of torchlight. The air is cool, damp, and heavy with silence. Another version of you sits here alone, surrounded by books and scrolls. This self chose solitude, a life of introspection and withdrawal from the world. Their eyes are deep, reflective, as if they've seen truths others cannot. Their hands trace the pages of an ancient text, their fingers stained with ink. I needed silence, they say, their voice soft but resonant. In it, I found myself. You notice the simplicity of their space, a single candle, a woven mat, a small bowl of water. Their life is one of minimalism, of seeking meaning in absence. But you sense the weight of isolation, the longing for connection left behind. A single carving on the wall, a spiral, hints at their journey inward. What would it mean to be this version of you? To seek truth in solitude, to live with only your thoughts? Reflect on a moment when you craved silence, when the world felt too loud. Picture yourself in this cave, the torchlight flickering, the silence wrapping around you. How does it feel to be so alone, yet so whole? Let that stillness settle within you like a deep breath. The journey reaches a crescendo. You stand in a vast plain, the sky above a tapestry of stars, their light soft and endless. Before you, hundreds, perhaps thousands of versions of yourself gather. Some are young, their eyes wide with hope. Others are old, their faces lined with wisdom. Some laugh, their voices bright and unguarded. Some weep, their eyes reflecting unspoken losses. Some stand in quiet contemplation. They are artists, wanderers, scholars, dreamers, builders, survivors, rebels, seekers. Each one is you, yet each is distinct. They begin to speak, not in unison, but in a soft overlapping chorus. I chose love, one says. I chose freedom, another whispers. I chose to stay, says a third. Their voices weave together, a symphony of choices, regrets, and triumphs. You notice the small details, the way one adjusts their glasses, another brushes dirt from their hands, a third hums a tune you've never heard but feel in your bones. Some carry joy, their laughter like a melody. Others hold sorrow, their eyes like windows to forgotten dreams. Each is whole, each is enough.
This is the infinite lattice of your existence. Every choice, every moment has created this gathering. There is no hierarchy here, no better or worse. Each self is a thread in a boundless tapestry, woven from the raw material of your life. What do you feel standing among them? Do you see yourself in their faces? Do you feel their joys, their sorrows as your own? Picture yourself walking among them, listening to their stories, feeling their presence. What do they teach you about who you are? Let's pause to reflect on a deeper question. If every version of you exists, what does it mean to be you? The philosopher Alan Watts once said, "You are the universe experiencing itself." In this moment, you are not just one life, but all lives. Not just one choice, but all choices. The poet Rumi wrote, "Beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right-doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there." Imagine that field now, this vast plain where all yourselves gather. What binds these threads together? Is it love, courage, the simple act of being? Picture yourself as a web, each thread a life, each intersection a moment of choice. Take a moment to sit with this question. Let it unfold like a flower in bloom. Some selves begin to share their stories. One, a young version, tells of a love they chased across continents, only to lose it to time. Their voice is soft, tinged with regret, but also gratitude for the journey. I loved fiercely, and that was enough. Another, older, speaks of a life spent building something, a community, a legacy, only to see it crumble. Yet they smile, finding meaning in the effort. I built with my hands, and that was my truth. A third, a child, laughs as they describe a life of play, of chasing dreams without fear. I ran, and the world opened to me. Their voices overlap, a chorus of experience, each one a lesson in resilience, in joy, in the beauty of imperfection. What do these stories stir in you?
Think of a moment in your own life, a triumph, a failure, a fleeting joy. Maybe it was a victory you celebrated, a loss you carried, a moment when you felt truly alive. How does it connect to these selves? Picture yourself sitting with them, listening to their voices, their laughter, their tears. What would you ask them? What would they ask you? Let this moment be a conversation, a quiet exchange across the infinite, a bridge between all your lives. As the voices fade, a quiet truth emerges. To meet every version of yourself is not to judge or compare, but to understand. Each self, whether triumphant or broken, adventurous or still, is a thread in the tapestry of your existence. Regret becomes recognition. Fear becomes awareness. Achievement becomes simply one part of a boundless whole. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In this moment, you hold the strength to see every self, to embrace every choice, to find peace in the infinite complexity of your existence."
Picture yourself now, standing at the center of this infinite web. Feel the weight of your choices, but also their lightness. Each path was valid. Each self is enough. Take a deep breath. Let this truth settle within you, like a seed taking root. What will you carry forward from this journey? How will it shape the choices you make tomorrow? Imagine carrying this wisdom like a lantern, its light guiding your steps through the dark. The realm of infinite selves recedes, like mist burning away in the morning light. The stars fade, the plane dissolves, and you are back in your own reality. But you carry something new, a deeper understanding, a quiet acceptance. Every choice you make is a seed, planting the possibility of another life. But this life, the one you're living now, is enough. You are enough. As you move forward, ask yourself, what choices will you make today? What paths will you explore? And when you look back, years from now, what versions of yourself will you see? Picture yourself standing at a crossroads, the paths stretching out before you, each one shimmering with possibility. Which will you choose? How will you walk it? Feel the ground beneath your feet, the air in your lungs, the pulse of life within you. This journey never truly ends. It lives in every moment, every decision, every breath. The philosopher Plato wrote, "We are twice armed if we fight with faith." Carry this faith with you, faith in your choices, in yourselves, in the infinite beauty of your existence. Imagine yourself now stepping forward, the lantern of this journey glowing in your hands. Where will it lead you? What stories will you write? Let these questions linger, like stars in a quiet sky. Thank you for walking this path with me. May you carry its light with you always.